Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Good.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think we know sort of what to do now to set it up, so in theory it should run a bit smoother.
Well, I hope my other groups are onto it as you guys.
I have to admit, it's a bit early. Getting
Yeah.
myself up this early, got my cup of tea and everything, so
Well, I thought it was, yeah, a bad time, but any time's a good time, really.
yeah, no, true that.
Okay, so um, so did you just accept my invitation?
I mean, a little thing just kind of appeared on my screen, and then I clicked it. Basically, I mean,
Okay,
accepting the invite that was sent by email just let me see it. It didn't let me join it.
right, I see. Okay, so we do have 5 or 6 other people who want to join in today.
Mhm.
Lucy, who made us get up at this hour, so she better turn up. And the Joanna and the same people as last week, but also 2 other Spanish students.
Okay.
So, but yeah, nobody. Maybe. I wonder how I do it.
Can you try
Okay,
inviting them like you did to me, and then see if that?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's a good idea. Here we go. I'll try that right now. Yeah, because I'm getting messages. Okay. All right. Uh, I had no idea it would be. It's. I guess just once we get to know it, like you
Yeah.
said, it'll be easier.
Yeah,
But
just a few teething problems learning to use the software a bit. Because I don't think any of us had used Google Plus before. I think it's completely new to all of us. So
yeah.
it's just told me that you've invited people to the call.
Okay, that's a good sign.
Hmm. Um,
So I wonder where Lucy is.
yeah, I'll see if I can send you a message on Facebook or something. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
the same uni, so
I think that perhaps social media would be more.
Okay, it said you've invited more people again. It keeps notifying me.
I wonder why it doesn't tell me anything. Hurrah! Hi, Ursula.
Hi.
It's early. Have you had your coffee yet?
No.
Oh dear. Ursula, this is Chris. Chris, Ursula.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where in Spain are you from?
Valencia.
Valencia. Okay. I'm from the UK, but I'm studying in Salamanca at the moment. So.
I wonder why it doesn't tell me anything. Hurrah! Ah, I've got a delay. Hi, Ursula.
Oh, now I'm hearing what you said a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, me too. Oh well. So Ursula, what do you study at uni? Ursula, this is Chris. Hi. Ah, everything's delayed. Yeah, there's a big delay. Oh, no, don't want that. I just opened up the effects.
Yeah.
Ursula, can you hear us?
Yes?
Okay, good. I think we've all caught up.
Yeah, it seems to be working a bit better now.
Okay. Ursula, what do you study at university?
Electric engineer.
Okay. Is it difficult?
No, I don't know. A little bit.
Okay. What year are you in?
First.
Okay. And have you ever traveled to an English-speaking country?
Yes.
Where
My
did
aunt lives in the US,
Mhm.
and I was there for a whole year.
Okay. Whereabouts?
In Arlington.
Okay.
Great.
It's next to Washington, D.C.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
I've never been to the US. I'd like to, but never been.
Yeah, I would like to visit as well. Not any of the suburb places, but the big cities. Okay. Ursula, have you seen a lot of the content on of the course? Have you been doing the readings or the
first week?
listenings?
The
Yeah.
first Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any questions? Okay. Okay, great. How about you, Chris? What do you have any questions about anything that you've been reading?
No, not at the moment, no.
Cool.
And is next week's stuff available already, or is it going to be made available on Monday?
Monday.
Okay.
So on Sunday at midnight.
Okay.
Okay. I have a few sayings from different countries, and I'm going to put the first one up, and I want you guys to guess what country the saying is from.
Okay. Ooh. The nail that sticks up feels the hammer first.
Yeah.
Sounds maybe Germanic or Russian to me. I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Ursula? What country do you think those sayings are from?
I don't know.
Okay. Why did you think Germanic or Russian, Chris?
I don't know. I mean, all the kind of sayings that I've kind of seen in like French, Spanish, and Italian have all sort of been more to do with kind of day-to-day life and stuff. Whereas this one, I don't know, it seems slightly bit more violent. Whereas the other ones have kind of been more to do with kind of animals or how people see each other and stuff. So
Okay.
I don't know.
Right. Okay, so it's from Japan.
Okay.
What do you see any cultural significance to that?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, because I thought it was like Russian or something, but Japanese, no, I mean, I would have probably thought it had been perhaps a bit more neutral, a bit more, because the idea of kind of feeling a hammer, is a bit of a painful thought, really. I would have thought it had been something a bit more neutral and calm. I don't know.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Ursula, do you know anything about, or have you ever met a Japanese person? No? No one from Asia? What do you know about the Japanese culture or language?
Nothing.
Any stereotypes?
That they study a lot and
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay,
Video
so,
games.
sorry.
Video games.
Right, yes. There is that social phenomena that's happening where adolescents and teenage boys mainly lock themselves in their room and just play video games. Yeah. Okay, so the Asian culture is a lot more group-centered, so they rely on social harmony a lot more than Occidental cultures. And the saying is referring to people who are very opinionated or who stick out, go outside the group. Something bad usually happens to them for not trying to keep in tune with how the social harmony with society.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that comes from, and that's something that reflects a culture quite well, which sometimes sayings don't do. Okay, what about the second one? Where do you think this comes from?
We really need to play hardball.
Yeah, you'll know this one.
Partly I'd say, I don't know, maybe the US, because it's quite a sports-orientated one.
Yeah.
And, but like when just chatting to kind of Americans and stuff, they use a lot of kind of sports idioms, I think.
Right. Yes, it's from the US. Ursula, what do you think? Does that sound very American?
Yes.
Why?
Because, I don't know.
Because of sports as well, maybe?
What?
Because of sports as well?
Yeah.
Also,
like everyone plays a sport there and...
Sorry.
Joe says, how can she join the call? She can't get on.
Okay, I just sent her an invite. Oh no, that's Ursula that I sent an invite to again. We want Joe.
Yeah, she's ready, but she just can't get on like I couldn't before.
Here she is. Okay. Okay, I just invited her. And Lucy as well is here. So, but I thought I had invited her as well. I'll do that again. Okay, did Joe get my invite?
Let's see what she says. I'm not sure. Hang on. I've lost the window. Yeah, there we go.
Excellent. Hi, Joe. Kind of, but all right, fantastic.
Hiya.
Hi. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
You look fresh and awake. You don't look like it's 8:30.
That's because it's 9:30 because I'm in Spain.
That hour makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now. So this is Ursula. Ursula, this is Joe.
Hi.
We were talking about sayings and how they have cultural references.
Mhm.
So have you heard of the saying, we really need to play hardball? Wow, I guess it's not a saying, it's more of an expression.
No, I haven't heard that expression.
Does it sound very American to you?
Yeah, very American.
Why? What makes it sound American?
Probably the hardball bit, I think.
Right.
But
Okay,
that,
yes.
that name doesn't ring a bell at all.
No, as a Brit, no. If it
Right.
was cricket, then I would have said British, but
Yeah, hardball. I don't even know what hardball is, to be
no.
honest.
Okay, so yeah, it does have those sports connotation, definitely, like Chris mentioned. But also that it refers to business. So Americans are very much they don't beat around the bush. So when it comes to communication, their communication's very direct.
Mhm.
And the play hardball means we've got to really get in there and be aggressive. So it's got those two connotation, which says a lot, really, about the culture.
Okay.
Right. Okay, what about... I like this one, which I can't find it now. Okay.
Too much and too little ruins everything.
Hi, Lucy.
Morning.
Good morning.
I've been here for a while.
Oh dear. We've got to get this
Banging
sorted
on the
out
window.
properly. Bang on the
Yeah, how
window.
are we meant to join a video call? Because I couldn't work out how to do it at all.
Right. I thought that it was just an invite, but that's just Google Hangouts. It's not on-air Hangout, which is why we're having difficulties. So what I've got to do is, once I've started the broadcast, is invite you.
Yeah. Because
So
the invite from before,
that's
the
my
one
fault.
that we got by email, like it only lets us see the hangout rather than actually participate in it. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's my fault, because I had tested all of this with the Google Hangout and I thought it worked the same. But because it's on air, once I start the broadcast, I have to invite you to participate.
Okay.
Otherwise, like you said, you can only watch. So I'm sorry about that. How you going, Andrea? Are we talking too fast? Sorry, Ursula?
No, it's okay.
Yeah? You
Yeah.
good?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Lucy, we're discussing sayings and expressions.
Okay, something about hardball.
Yes, correct.
I've been here.
You have.
Let me
Oh,
in.
you've been watching.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay, so you've been, like you said, banging on the window. I like that expression. The next one was too much and too little ruins everything. What country do you think that might come from?
I don't think it's American.
No.
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 Too much kind of works for the Americans.
Exercise me.
Yeah.
It seems almost biblical, like having to get this kind of perfection. I don't know, that you can't be either too much or too little. It has to be exactly perfect, which I don't. For me, sounds something that might have been taken from a religion or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. It is a culture that's surprisingly religious. Well, they used to be. They're not anymore. It's from Sweden.
Oh,
They have a word, don't they, for the concept of not quite, too much, just enough, which we don't really have.
No.
What it is.
Okay. Yes, I didn't know that. That's interesting. It is interesting to study how the language also reflects culture. So that, I guess, that says a lot about them. Right. Oh, I like this one too.
Very often behind a sweet talking mouth is hiding a poisonous heart.
I guess that could be any culture, really.
Yeah.
Ursula, what country do you think it is? Say any country. You're on the spotlight now. They're all surprising. I've made it difficult for you, so you can say an unusual country if you like. Or Lucy, any ideas?
Madagascar?
It's from Romania.
Okay.
So, any ideas of what that might reflect in the culture?
I guess maybe more that a bit in the similar vein to the got to play hardball, that they'd prefer you to be direct rather than kind of beating around the bush and saying like, I mean, us as Brits, we have this tendency to say, oh, it's not bad, when we mean it's pretty average, and other people take it to mean, oh, it's good. But
Right.
what we mean is,
Yeah, definite difference between the Spanish there when they're like, no está tan mal, and we're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, damn. But yes, yeah, for sure, definitely. Also, it's interesting to see how cultures change as well, because this is a really new saying, well, new in inverted commas, and it is a theory. What some people have written about is that it's changed a lot because it's become a much more suspicious culture because of all the sort of issues that they've had since communism. So when communism fell, there were lots of problems with pyramid schemes and scams and that sort of thing. So that was sort of reflecting, I wanted to talk about how cultures can change a lot. Any ideas on that?
I think sometimes, I mean, taking Spain for an example, like, my grandparents still kind of see it as very, the Spain that they need is kind of stereotypically very Catholic Spain and everything, and very kind of, repressed with Franco and stuff. And so us living here, what we see now is very different from the image, at least, that my grandparents had of, what Spain was back then. So.
Oh, Spain's a perfect example. Ursula, los pymes valencianos. Do you remember that 10 years ago? They were eating the world and
No.
yeah, okay, so the stereotype with the bubble was that the Valencians are very hard workers and are sort of the tiger economy and really moving forward. And that hasn't, I mean, in theory, people can't change in 10 or 15 years, but now the stereotype is exactly the opposite. And really, nothing's changed except the economy. But how can a culture change? How can somebody be one thing and then another just because the bubbles burst? Any ideas? Any disagree or agree?
I think a lot of it is, again, how we sort of see it. I think even if factors in the country are changing, all the other countries will be lagging behind in how they see it. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, my grandparents are still thinking that Spain is a very kind of Catholic and somber place. But then, equally, because there's this kind of lag, I guess, with what's happening and how other people see it, that then the construction that other cultures are making of this culture could also be quite wrong. It could be quite, because of this lag and because, their own country is moving and doing different things as well. I think it can be quite easy to get the wrong end of the stick.
Right.
And I think it's like what the one of the audio said for the first week of the course was saying that we all see it through a complete crystal. So when we try and judge our own culture and try and see if it's changed, for us it hasn't changed at all because we've just gone so much with the times that we haven't realised the development. Whereas we can look at somewhere like Spain, and because we've studied, well, the majority of us have studied it at a university level, we can see the differences in the culture. Yet our differences in the cultures have been constructed from an academic point of view and not from a potential living point of view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up until now, at least.
It can cause great confusion.
Oh, have you heard of emic and etic?
No.
Okay, so this is exactly the research that studies viewing a culture from inside and viewing a culture from outside.
Mhm.
So emic is when you're inside.
Mhm.
In theory, if you're etic, you can't study emic, and if you're emic or an emic researcher, you can't study etic, because from what you see from inside is completely different from what you see from outside.
Yeah.
So, and also this idea of culture always changing gives the impression that culture doesn't really exist. Because if it's moving and if it's not stable at all,
Yeah.
how can we analyze it, or how can we pinpoint it? Is it just all stereotypes?
That's a really good point, actually.
Mm.
I'm going to write it down.
Yes, that's the problem with having a philosopher boyfriend. Everything you think is wrong. There's always the other side.
Yeah.
What were they called again? Ethnic and...
Emic and etic. They're in the comments.
Oh, brilliant. I've lost the comments now. Oh, brilliant. Perfect, thanks.
Okay. All right, I like this one as well, but I can't find it again. I'll find, okay. Here it is.
I don't think it's Japan this time. The one who's not right is the one who screams louder.
The one who's not right is the one who screams louder.
Or it might be like somewhere like Japan actually, where I don't know, they do kind of value like balanced communication and stuff. And so by kind of not, I mean, what you said about group philosophy earlier, and the one about the nail. That if you're not adhering to it, then you're usually the one that's wrong. I don't know. Maybe a strange stream of thought, but
No, I see that. I see that connection. It's from Romania again.
Romania again?
Yes. This is a traditional one from a long, long time ago, apparently, according to this book.
I don't know. I would have thought maybe the Romanians were a bit more like the Spanish or the Italian, with kind of it being a culture where I don't know, they don't talk at a normal volume ever. So a phrase like this is.
Okay, I think this means more rather than volume. The person who, I don't know, have you ever obviously spoken to somebody who's lying, who's made lots of excuses? And they've really tried to cover it up in lots of different ways. I think it refers more to that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a Sherlock Holmes episode about that, where it says that only liars make up excuses.
Okay, yeah. So even though this is from Romania, I think this is another one of those universal truths. Okay, this is a good one too.
A glass of water.
We have a similar one in English for this one, actually.
What do we have in English?
A similar saying to this.
Is it like making a mountain out of a molehill?
Exactly, yeah. And I think, okay, so what country do you think this comes from? This really reflects values quite well, actually, this saying of laid back, don't worry, it's okay, it's not that big a deal, you're not going to die in a glass of water.
I'm thinking maybe Latin America, I don't know.
Yeah, it's Mexico, it's from Mexico.
Okay. But it's interesting that I don't know, that we've got the same saying, but it's, I don't know, the kind of whole idea of it is completely different. Because in this one, I mean, the idea of drowning is definitely a lot more kind of mountain out of a molehill is just aesthetic, whereas this kind of makes it all a bit more, I don't know, gives it a bit more urgency. There's the possibility of drowning.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. Much more intense and passionate, and yeah, there's definitely that to it. I really like this one. I'll tell you now, this is also from Mexico, and it reflects that same idea.
Does it count for today, how early we've all woken up with this?
No. Okay.
The dawn won't happen any sooner. Is it more like kind of, I don't know, sort of like try as you might kind of thing?
Try as you might change the course of nature.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this really reflects that fatalism in a culture. So you'll see further on in the course, it speaks a lot about Arab and Latin cultures who believe that their destiny and their fate is that. They can't change that. So there's really that attitude of, that's fine. That's whatever's meant to be is meant to be, and there's nothing we can do about it. Which is very, very different from perhaps maybe an English American attitude to we completely create our destiny. And the idea behind that is completely religious. So the Protestant religion has heaven on earth. So we are directly related to God, and what we do gets us into heaven directly. We don't go through the church or religion or the priest or anybody. What we do gets us there. So that's why we have to make our destiny here on earth now. And it seems a bit abstract, and a lot of people say, no, I'm not religious, so it can't affect my culture. But obviously that's what's shaped it from the very beginning. So there's that idea behind it, which once again a lot of people don't agree with. So okay. Very sensible culture here.
Pessimistic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, better lower your standards.
Right.
That's what it is, isn't it?
Sort of, I remember at school as well. I remember a teacher, in primary school, telling us that something like, aim for the sun, even if you don't make it, you'll land among the stars, or something like that.
Shoot for the moon.
Okay.
That one, yeah.
Yes.
This seems to be the exact opposite. I don't know.
It completely is, isn't it? Totally is.
I don't like it. No, it's too pessimistic for me.
You're never going to get anywhere if you don't aim for something that you don't already have, are you? You just get stuck.
Perhaps it's unrealistic, though. What you're aiming for. If you aim too high.
But if you aim too high, you're only going to learn in the process.
You're going to get somewhere. Even if you don't get to the end, I think you're going to get somewhere. Whereas this, I think, I don't know, it's like, it just comes up images of being stuck in a rut, of I don't know, having a sort of very sedentary life and not sort of moving anywhere, really.
It's like, for example, if you decide on a university choice, better take what is certain than aim for the uncertain. Then, you can't change it. If you don't try, then you won't know. Yeah.
You could also look at it very pragmatically, and so it's always better to have food on the table than to waste your time on an idea that doesn't work.
Okay, setting up a business in a bad economic environment, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or gambling your money.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I also have a second...
Sorry?
I also have a second exercise, which is not here, about... Okay, Ursula, I'm going to spotlight you again, because you're our reference culture. So we're England, New Zealand, and you're Spain. So we're going to have to compare the English and the Spanish here. Okay, do you think that asking how much you paid for a car is rude or not rude?
No.
How about you, Lucy?
I'd say it's a little bit forthright.
Yeah.
Right. A little bit too blunt.
Yeah.
Okay. In New Zealand, you couldn't ask for that either.
What
What
country
about-
was that
oh, sorry.
last? What country was that last saying from? The
Oh,
better take what it's
Sweden.
certain.
Sorry, I jumped too quickly. Sweden.
Okay.
Okay.
Sensible cultures. Okay, so this next exercise obviously is about politeness and being rude. What about burping at the end of your meal?
Definitely not.
No? Ursula and Valencia, do they burp at the end of
No.
their paella?
Oh my god.
Okay.
No, isn't it that in China or something? I think you're supposed to because it's seen as like a sign of appreciating the meal.
Totally. Yes, exactly. It
Mm.
means you've eaten well as having a mess around your plate. So the more of a mess you have, the better you've eaten. Which, yeah. What about, this one's a good one, which is often commented on.
Yeah, that's rude.
Rude.
Mm.
Okay, so in Arab cultures and in Asian cultures, once again, the opposite is rude. So if you are staring at somebody in the eye, you can only look at people who are your same social status in the eye. In a lot of Asian countries, Southeast Asia, like Indonesia and Vietnam, it's a sign of disrespect if you stare at somebody in the eye who is your teacher or an elder, for example. Okay, this is a good one. So that's sharing. Sharing personal health information. Ursula, does your grandma tell you about her internal stomach problems?
My grandma is not alive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's not rude, isn't it? I think.
In New Zealand, we don't speak about personal health problems ever. Well, not details. Perhaps you've been to the hospital and that's it. What about in Manchester, Lucy?
I think it depends on like who you're talking to.
Right.
But I think with your friends, you can afford to be a bit more open.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed. I mean, my mum's Italian. I've got the whole half of the Italian family, and they've got this. I don't know, a bit of a cultural difference that always astounds me, and I don't understand how they do it. Is that they kind of pinpoint exactly where something hurts. So, for example, if I say, "Oh, my stomach hurts," an Italian person will say something like, "Oh, my liver hurts." I'm like, and how do you know it's your liver? I think they've got this culture of being able to, maybe if they're completely wrong, but at least kind of naming the exact part. My esophagus hurts, and I'm just like, my stomach hurts. I think we were a bit more general, and I think it's a bit odd for us to kind of, I don't know, talk in terms like that, because I think it's slightly disgusting, really. To kind of not only use the words in conversation, but know that that's exactly where it is. Whereas I think we'd prefer for it to be kind of, I don't know, an anonymous problem, should we say?
Right.
But
Definitely.
I think also sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I find with close friends and stuff, it's actually a sign of a close friendship if you can tell each other like personal health information. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Like if I can tell my best friend that like I don't know I've got really bad like stomach pains or something, then it's more of a sign that I trust her and I'm close with her enough to tell her that type of thing. But then, for example, I'd never say it to someone that I'd only just met. What was wrong, because that would be rude and it would be completely out of context.
Yeah.
This is making me think about how different the American and the English cultures really are. I hear about it all the time, but it's really amazing. It's so similar but so different.
They're really into the sharing, aren't they?
Right. Yes, and being very
therapy and being at one with their feelings, whereas we're like, no, put it away.
Yeah.
You don't have feelings.
Ursula, when you were in America, did you find that Americans were very open?
No, some of them. I don't know. I knew a lot of Spanish people there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Latin Americans or Spanish from
Yeah,
Spain?
Latin Americans too.
Okay.
But from Spain, because my cousins go to a bilingual school.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What countries in Latin America were your friends from?
From Mexico or El Salvador.
Excellent. The Maras.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know.
No, I'm joking. Okay, what about... Oh, okay. Another controversial one.
I've noticed that happens a lot more here in Spain than it would in the UK. I mean, I think I'm just walking along in Salamanca and it's happening everywhere. And it's, I don't know, in the UK you might see it once a month maybe in public, but here it's several times a week I see it happening, which I don't know, it just annoys me a bit. It's kind of like at the same time it's just get out of the way. I'm moving.
Gross.
It seems to be kind
It makes
of
me blush.
people
Go
blocking
be
me.
blissfully happy somewhere else.
Yeah.
I can imagine it happens a lot more around the Mediterranean, like in sort of romance countries, rather than up here.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think you'll see it a lot in Chile as well.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
So, does anyone know why it happens more, or think they know why, or any opinions on why?
Like we kiss to everyone. Like, I see my mom and I kiss her, to my dad, to my cousin.
What about
friends.
boyfriend-girlfriend type kissing?
Oh. Sorry. Yeah, normal too.
So a friend of mine told me a lot of the reason why, which there's never one reason for anything. There's always several reasons for everything. But one of the reasons why this happens a lot is because people live at home until they're older than in Anglo-Saxon countries. So they don't have anywhere to do it. So it's become accepted to do it in public.
Well, we studied La Movida in part of our culture course in Spain, and we had to study a lot of films. And obviously, in the films, there's a lot of like sex, let alone just kissing and stuff like that. Just as an outburst of finally from the repressed society. So I wonder if some of it has the root in Spain, at least, or in countries that have been very, very Catholic in the past. Like they've been so repressed that now that they can do it, it's a sign of culture and independence and everything.
Right, definitely. I'd say that probably has something to do with it as well.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Not in like libraries and stuff.
Yeah,
for everything.
The fun depends on sort of which end of the kissing you're at.
They're blocking my way. I'm trying to get to something in a supermarket. Then it's not fun at all.
If you're the one who's got an elbow in your face,
Yeah.
just sitting on the bus.
No, I guess that's not much fun.
When they're doing it on the bus, and you're just like, really? Like, I was in Italy, and it was just awful because I'd be on the bus, and there was one occasion I was in between two couples kissing out, and I was just like, excuse me, I like feel so awkward right now. And like it didn't just stop at kissing, it was like lifting up the leg and everything. I was like, please, just get a room, the bus is not a room. Like, just go somewhere else.
Oh no, how embarrassing.
Yeah.
You can't read because you're distracted. You can't do anything, of course. All right.
That's very relative to the culture you're in, isn't it? Because like here, you can turn up 5 minutes late, and you'll be fine. In Sweden and sort of more Scandinavian countries, but I know Sweden for sure. If you turn up anything later than about 5 minutes to the hour or whatever, then they're gone. They don't wait for you. I found that out the hard way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Whereas, in Spain, mañana, mañana. They see you 4 hours.
It's called el tiempo de cortesía or something like that.
Okay, okay.
Spanish time.
Yes.
But I mean, I have to agree with this one. I mean, sort of being the Brit of the friend group, there's been times where I've been sat there waiting for about 40 minutes, and they're like, yeah, on my way now. And so I've kind of learned to adapt and start arriving late myself. Just because I know that, or start lying to people about the time. So if I want to meet someone at, I don't know, 10, I tell them to meet me in the Plaza at 9:30.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's studying in Santiago de Compostela, so in Spain, and she's got a lot of German friends. And she says that the Germans sort of arrive. There's like the Germans, the Brit. Oh, she's from Australia. Then there's a Brit, and then there's 2 Spanish in her internet friendship group. Apparently, it's really funny because the Germans are always there 20 minutes before. She's always there bang on time. The Brits are always there 5 minutes before, and then the Spanish turn up 45 minutes later, and then they actually begin. But I mean, there's just no concept of if you arrive a few minutes late in Spain that there's any problem at all. Whereas in England, it's quite rude.
Yeah, there's no problem of being late in Spain. Like half an hour, it's okay.
Yeah. And who's got it right? I think that the Latins have got it right, because why worry? Why stress about everything?
Well, the worst thing is if you've got something organised the hour later,
Yeah.
you can't go.
Chill out.
Like-
Come on.
I mean, in the workplace, I worked in Italy over the summer, and I remember there was this one member of staff who, and the timetables would be done every week, so our timetables would change, on a week-by-week basis, depending on, commitments and stuff. And I think I had to, I started working at 8 that day, and I think there was a couple of days where I started working at 8, and he was down to work at 9. He'd get in at 11, and I'd be like, my shift is over, but I'm now doing your shift because you're not here yet. And it happened several times, without any. It just irked me to no end.
Right, so he's got the better life. Really, the English are the suckers. And who lives longer as well?
Probably them.
The Spanish. The Spanish have a really high life expectancy because they don't stress. It really, in the bigger picture, they're really doing it all right. And the Greeks, spending German money and relaxing. It's great. Okay, what about this?
No.
Absolutely not.
Never allowed? In China, it's very allowed.
It's horrible.
What is it supposed to help clean or something? Spit a little.
Get it all out of your system. It cleans your system.
So when you get diseases.
Okay. Yeah, no, not very hygienic.
But I don't know, I think a lot of people do it in the UK though as well.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I think it's a global thing, it's just, I think the way it happens everywhere, but what changes is the way it's viewed, I think. I think maybe it's a bit more acceptable here than it is in the UK, even though it happens still in the UK.
Okay, like everything, your reaction to it, how you interpret it, once again. What about this one?
I think that's fine. That doesn't. Maybe it's more because all the settings I've been in, have been me as a young person and perhaps not strict. But I can imagine maybe in a few years' time when I've got a job and stuff, that my views might change. But to me, that presents no problem at all.
No.
Okay. And so also you've always interacted with informal cultures. So normally the newer cultures tend to be more informal. Once again, in Spain before, that was a big no-no for teachers and for elders. And the new Spanish culture, the culture that we're beginning to see, it's really something that is completely acceptable. In Chile, you'll find that they'll use a lot more usted. Calling by the first name is certainly a no-no, definitely not. So it's, once again, these are all things about simple interpretation and what you've been brought up to do.
as well, I think one of my lecturers here, I mean, he said, I mean, his lectures are quite laid back. He said that, we can tutear him and everything. But he said, he insisted that every time we email, we have to use, like, señor blah, 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 and use usted. But in speech, we can, I don't know, he just wants us to be formal in emails.
Right.
It's slightly odd. But...
No, not at all.
I had the opposite situation, because I have one of my modules at the university is also an open module for like older people, like it's like for over 50s. It's like one of those courses that the over 50s can join in,
That must be an interesting atmosphere.
Oh no. No, it wasn't in February the 21st. It was February the 22nd, because there was they get really specific about things.
Yeah. So there's like this group of old people sitting with us, and we kind of all. So there's me and another Erasmus student in that, also from England. And we both sort of started like not really sure whether we go instead, what we call them, whether we call them by their names, or whether we say Mr. So and so. So we went for instead, thinking that it's better to be safe rather than sorry. And they got really offended. They were like, "What? Do you think we're like so much older than you that you have to call us?" We were like, "You do have double our age, but okay, we'll go 30 if that's going to make you feel better."
Yeah, sorry, but you are actually knitting. Right, I'm gonna have to shoot because I've got to get a train.
Okay, great. We'll get on the discussion board and decide a time for the next exchange.
Okay, wicked.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to have to juggle something. Sorry?
Shall I try and do a different one again? I'm really sorry that I can't do the one now. I've just got to get going, that's all.
That's fine. I'm going to juggle the groups around, so I'll let you guys know
Great.
Okay.
what's happening.
Cool.
Okay,
Well,
thanks very much.
yeah.
Okay, bye, Lucy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Right. Okay, we've got a few minutes for a little bit more. Okay.
I need to head bang on 10:30. Sorry.
Bang on 10:30. Okay. All right. Well, for the last few minutes then, any questions about the course or any issues or comments?
Next week we have to do a group piece of work or something. What exactly does that entail?
Okay, so the second and the third week is an individual production, and then the fourth and the fifth week is a group production.
Okay.
So I wanted to make it as open as possible. Some ideas are like a video or a mashup of different things that you find on the internet or wherever is some things that I have received in the past which worked really well. But it's really open. I mean, you can do whatever you want just on what you've understood from week 1 and week 2.
Okay. And so, is there like a set length or anything, or like how much information has to be in there, or?
Not at all. Completely open. Completely up to you. And then you will review or mark 3 other students' productions.
Okay.
So when you hand it in, it will also ask you to mark other people's productions. So there's a guide to a rubric to how you mark that.
Okay. That makes a bit more sense now. Thanks.
Okay.
Great. Okay, all right. All right then. Well, like I said, we'll get on the discussion boards to decide a time for the next exchange.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks. See you
All
soon.
right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye, Ursula.
Bye.
See you soon. How'd it go, Ursula?
I'm a little bit shy, so
That's okay. It doesn't matter. Did you enjoy it?
yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's the important thing, because comprehension is as important as speaking.
Yeah.
So if you're just here listening, I'll leave you alone next time. I won't ask you so many questions.
And it's okay. You
Yeah?
can ask. Yes.
Okay. Good.
Thank
Are
you.
Okay. I was going to say, because the groups are a little. There are some people from some groups coming. There are some people from other groups who don't come. So I'm going to juggle people around groups a little bit. So I'll send you an email or on the discussion board, I'll tell people what's happening.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Bye.
All right. Nice to meet you. Bye.